It was a crisp October night, the suburban streets quiet and filled with seasonal decorations. Near silent, all but the heavy footsteps of Star Jr., who ran into his backyard with a conspicuous garment tucked under his arm. Peering from the dimly lit treehouse, Stevie felt the rope ladder jolt and rustle the leaves.
Star's back!
Wait, did he actually go back for it?
Guys. They were out of big candy, so I just took a bunch of Skittles. But I forgot I had a tartrazine allergy, and they felt really bad. So they let me pick something from the garage instead.
What?
They keep candy in their garage? Kinda creepy.
No, I took this!
And Star held up an oversized and tattered red flannel.
That's not candy.
Star, you dingus. You could have taken something expensive.
I wasn't trying to scam them, Owl. It's for your costume. See, Stevie? She really looks like an axe murderer now.
I always look like an axe murderer.
I mean, it's cool and all, but isn't Halloween over? I mean, I guess she can wear it for tonight.
The treehouse fell silent a moment. Star looked confused.
What do you mean?
Dude, it's only October 3rd.
But we were just trick-or-treating.
Yeah, and we'll do it again on Halloween.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Owl went home with her flannel. Stevie watched from the front window as she entered the house across the street.
Your mom knows to come pick you up, right?
She knows.
Star rustled loudly through his candy in the kitchen, and Stevie began to feel uneasy staring into the darkness for so long. He knew his mom would come, but he felt an overwhelming sense of déjà vu.
Do you remember Kyle?
Star garbled a mouthful of Swedish fish.
Oh, who's that?
I think he used to hang out with us in the treehouse. I think he made an elf costume.
That sounds familiar, actually.
I don't really remember that well, though.
Maybe we'll run into him tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe. I think that was his name anyways. Kyle.
The next morning, the winds in town were especially abrasive. Fall leaves skittered across the sidewalk and blew into half-full candy baskets. Stevie got another ride into town to meet his friend. The spooky street fair was about to begin, but only a couple booths could keep their tents from flying away. Stevie stood behind a tree in werewolf makeup, waiting to see if anyone would show.
Stevie!
Hi, Star!
The air finally began to settle as dusk turned to dark, and the two ran around looting candy from the quiet neighborhood.
Did you see that skeleton guy? He didn't even recognize me from yesterday.
Why would he?
After a long night, they were almost back to Star's house. Stevie grabbed Star's arm and pointed to a house on the previous corner.
Isn't that the place you got the old flannel from yesterday?
I don't have my glasses. No, probably not.
That was the only place giving out big candy, Star.
Whoa, wait, did you say big candy?
Yeah, but I mean that was yesterday, not today.
Oh my god, wait, I am going back.
They're all out. We already checked.
Stevie, if they were doing it yesterday, then they're definitely doing it today.
He watched skittishly as Star ran back down the street. The longer he waited, he began to realize he had a big headache. Stevie returned to the treehouse and sifted through Pokemon cards on the floor. He idly slid them around to fill the silence. A slight wind howled through the window and blew over a cluttered pile of sketch paper. Stevie sat up from the floor and stared. These didn't look like Star's drawings. A sudden jolt shook the treehouse, and Stevie clung to a wall.
Open it! Don't look yet!
Okay.
His eyes wandered out the window and across the street. The house across from Star's was completely dark. Something began to feel eerily familiar.
Star, who's the person we were talking about last night?
Stevie could hear a bunch of ripping and hasty taping going on behind him.
They had like a double costume?
Hmm.
Or no, it might have been a serial killer costume.
Oh! That actually sounds kind of familiar.
Out of the corner of his eye, the lights from across the street turned on. Stevie's stomach sank.
Wait, where's Owl?
Okay, you can turn around now.
Star held up the same tattered red flannel, but it was torn on the sides and had fur taped to the arms.
Oh no, why do you have that? Did Owl not want it?
No! It's for you, silly! For your werewolf costume!
But you got it for Owl.
Yeah. I actually got it from the house that you were pointing at. It's a funny story. Do you remember my tartrazine allergy?
But you gave it to Owl.
Star smiled awkwardly.
Why do you keep saying that? Is that like a new meme or
Saying what?
owl? You keep saying owl. I don't get the reference.
She's your friend. Your neighbor?
Star paused, trying to gauge his motives.
It's okay if you don't want the flannel. I can just use it for my strawman costume, see?
Stevie felt helpless trying to communicate and hid his face in the beanbag chair. The treehouse stood still for a good minute. Star waited dully with a flannel in his arms. He looked at it and then tucked it back under his arm.
Well, I'm going inside. It's getting cold up here. You can come along if you want.
They moved single file out of the backyard onto the empty street. Stevie wandered sleepily to the front door and waited for Star to come open it. A long few moments passed before he realized Star wasn't following anymore.
Star?
On the edge of his vision, he saw Star cross the street towards Owl's house.
Star, where are you going?
Going home. Wanna come?
Star flung the flannel over his shoulder.
But that's not your house.
Stevie, you gotta sleep, man. You're so out of it tonight.
Stevie just sat down, knowing Star had to return inevitably. Minutes passed, and nothing changed. The house looked lifeless.
Star!
Stevie huddled more into a ball, trying to keep warm. Amidst the silence, Star's door cracked open behind him. It was nobody, and the house was pitch black. He peered in, then back across the street. As the winds grew more ferocious, he staggered inside. He paced around the house, eventually returning to the window where he sat yesterday. He burrowed into a heap of blankets and didn't take his eyes off the house across the street.
What's wrong with you, Star?
He felt his way around the dark kitchen, glancing back out the window periodically. Star's trick-or-treating candy lay on the counter as though it had been accumulating for weeks. Stevie began eating some to stay awake. He peered again across the street.
Owl. Is that even a real name? Star.
His eyes gravitated lazily to the digital clock that illuminated the pantry a red hue. It read October 3rd. When the sun rose that next morning, candy baskets on the street were filled half full. The spooky street fair was all prepped for operation, but only a couple vendors could handle the wind. Trick-or-treaters emerged after dark. The costumed kids went door to door, guided by the pale street lamps. Stevie lurked close behind. He scampered up to an empty porch to fill his bag, when the door opened abruptly.
Oh, sorry. Didn't see you there.
Oh, hi. Do you have any more of the big candies?
Oh, I see. We have a reputation already. No, we're out. Sorry, honey.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hey, aren't you Kyle's friend?
I'm sorry. I think you have me confused. I never...
No, you're Stevie. I never got to say hello to you. It's usually your friend and the little scarecrow for doing all the jibber-jabbering, right?
The scarecrow was familiar to him, yet he couldn't seem to attach a face to it. He stood by while the woman opened her garage and rummaged through boxes.
I'm not one to believe in a bad juju, but this old thing's been collecting dust for a while.
That's mine.
Yes, that's what Star said too. I'd be careful, though.
The backlit shadows of trick-or-treaters passed them by as the flannel traded hands. Stevie surveyed it in the harsh light. It was old and weathered, but no big tears. He felt like he knew it. It had a premonition. He could see the visages of forgotten friends within it.
So you're the only one left, huh?
A gust of wind rustled the flannel.
They had this, but then they went home and I never saw them again. I don't know anything else, just that they had this.
The wind got stronger.
Don't let the flannel replace those memories. They're only getting more distant the longer you spend in this day.
Stevie clung tighter.
But it's all I have left of them. I don't even know their names anymore.
A third gust forced itself through the trees, bringing a shock wave of leaves thundering past them. The flannel went flying down the street. It thrashed in the air until it got caught on the railing of a house down the block. Stevie rushed after it. On the other side of the road, across from the treehouse, Stevie was brought directly back to the dark home across the street. There were silhouettes in the window, one with the shadow of an axe.
Ow?
Stevie blinked. The lights went out a moment later.
No, wait!
The door stuck in place, then crackled and busted open with a plume of dust. He fought the wind to keep it open. The howling air immediately dissipated behind him. He felt along the dark, grimy walls for a light switch. He hit it, and the lights flickered on with hesitation. Dust floated in the air like snow, and it looked abandoned. This was Stevie's house. As he walked around, thoughts of these forgotten people overwhelmed him. He saw figures dressed up in the kitchen, running around the living room. He couldn't look. He tiptoed through narrow halls, following the shadows. He stumbled towards them.
Don't leave.
Stevie pushed his bedroom door open. It was completely empty. His arms gradually became burning hot. The flannel in his hands caught fire and he threw it to the ground. He stomped it out vigorously, but it was too late by then. All that remained of the flannel was ashes on the floor.
I'm sorry. That wasn't supposed to happen. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Stevie felt a hand on his back.
Stevie, bro, it's fine. You didn't mean to.
I know. It's just, I know it meant a lot to you guys.
It's fine.
We'll get another one before Halloween, Stevie. It's only the 3rd.
Star's gonna be so upset when he finds out. I don't think he'll ever forgive me.
It's not the end of the world, Stevie. We'll still be here for you.
Stevie sat up and looked around his room. The flannel lay torn on the dresser. Nothing more was said. But indeed, it wasn't the end of the world. The night had been hampered by the unfortunate damaging of a sentimental item, but Star didn't think any less of Stevie because of it. These things happened, after all. Next morning, the winds died away and the spooky street fair was packed up for the weekend. But his friends were still there. They went out and bought a brand new flannel for their costume, and it was looking to be a sunny October 4th. The end of the story. That's the end of the story. The end. You could probably just put the end part on screen. Probably don't need me to say the end, but if you want me to say the end, the end. The end. The end. The end. The end.